Father Song suddenly sighed, making Tianming more or less guilty. However, he carefully observed the old man and found that there was nothing wrong with him, so he was relieved. He felt that he had almost no intention of rebelling against the old man. Even if he wanted to give up the position of Song family patriarch to Warnya, he himself did not express very strong opposition, so the old man should not doubt him. So, he smiled and said respectfully, "Dad, you drink more while it's hot, and I will let the chef stew you a pot of nutrient soup in the evening to replenish your body, Mr." Song nodded, did not speak, but ate all the bird soup in the bowl. Seeing the old man eat up the bird soup in the bowl, Tianming was completely relieved and sneered in his heart. Warnya's life and death are unclear, and the old thing has become demented. No one in the Song family can be an enemy of mine. Old things have always it is the eldest son who inherited the throne. If you insist on giving me this monster moth, don't blame me for being cruel. Afterwards, he smiled and said to the old man, "Dad, you can rest for a while. I will go out and call Honor and ask him how he is doing now." The old man nodded gently. "Go." Tianming stepped out of the old man's room, did not really call Honor immediately, but directly found one of his confidants, called him to his room, and said seriously, "From now on, keep an eye on the old man. You must tell me everything he does and what the old man said." "Do you understand?" The other party nodded immediately. "Understand the master." At this moment, Father Song lying on the bed suddenly felt a headache, and the painful entire brain seemed to be abruptly stripped out. But soon, there was warm energy in his body that completely drove the pain away from his body. He knew very well in his heart that the headache must originate from the neurotoxin that Tianming had given him. And that warm energy is just a small amount of rejuvenation pills that he took in advance. The old man couldn't help but sighed. It seems that the rejuvenation pill really can resist all kinds of poisons, as Master said. Since it has escaped the damage of neurotoxins, the next thing to do is to pretend to be foolish for 24 hours. He must ensure that no one sees any flaws before Master returns, so he took advantage of this relatively free time in the end and took out his mobile phone to check the symptoms of Alzheimer's disease. He found that Alzheimer's disease can cause memory impairment, as well as loss of cognitive ability, language ability, and visual ability. Severe Alzheimer's disease has not only severe memory loss, but also symptoms such as incontinence, body stiffness, and hollow eyes. Seeing this, Mr. Song secretly thought in his heart, "It seems that if I want that rebellious son to completely believe that I have become Alzheimer's, I must show symptoms of severe dementia. Only in this way can he be completely relieved." After an hour, Tianming has been paying attention to the time. Now it has been an hour and a half since the father took the medicine. It stands to reason that the effect of the medicine has already occurred. So he planned to go to the old man's room to see the situation. When he came to the door of the old man's room and pressed the doorbell, there was no response in the room. He was overjoyed, but on the surface, he pressed it again without showing off. This time there was still no response. So he pretended to panic and said, "Come on. Come on." Suddenly, several servants ran over and asked, "Master, what happened?" Tianming said, "He didn't respond when I pressed the doorbell of the master. I am afraid that he might have an accident. You should help me knock the door open." When several servants heard this, they suddenly became nervous, and one of them took the initiative. "I'll come," another hurriedly said. "I'll be with you." At this time, Boyo also rushed to hear the news and asked nervously, "Young master, what happened to the master?" Tianming saw him and said hurriedly, "Boyo, you came just right. Father is in the room and he has no response after pressing the doorbell several times. I'm afraid he will have an accident." Boyo's heart was tense, and he suddenly realized that Tianming should have given the old man medicine, and suddenly he felt a little angry, sad, and worried. He didn't know whether Charlie's method could save the old man from disaster. However, he did not dare to show any hesitation, and said hurriedly, "Then slam the door open and go in and have a look." Several servants had already begun to work hard together and ran into the gate. After several times, the gate was knocked open with a bang. Immediately afterwards, Tianming pulled away the left and right people. His face was nervous, and he rushed in first. As soon as he entered, he went straight to the bedroom, running and shouting, "Dad! Dad, you're all right, Dad." With that, he pushed open the bedroom door. As soon as Tianming entered the door, he was immediately stunned by the sight in front of him. Then Boyo, who rushed in, and several of his servants were also frightened by the situation in front of them. In the meantime, Father Song was standing by the bed with a dazed expression. He was wearing only a pair of boxer briefs. There were a few strands of yellow shish tea flowing along the two legs at the base of his thigh. The expensive hand-made wool carpet was full of filth mixed with shish tea and urine, and the whole room was full of foul smell. Seeing so many people suddenly rushing in, Mr. Song was so frightened that he burst into tears. He stumbled to the balcony and cried out, "Who are you? What are you doing?" Seeing the old man's appearance, Tianming was happy. The old thing really is Alzheimer's. Can't even control his bowels. This is really stable. Although he thought so in his heart, he was still very nervous on the surface, and rushed over. Regardless of his filth, he kept him tight, and cried, "Dad, what's the matter with you, Dad? You don't recognize me? I am God." Ming, although the old man was angry at this time, he still admired his son. This beast is really capable of bending and stretching out. I am so dirty that he can come up to hug me without hesitation in front of so many people, and he is so real. It seems that he is also the #1 character. Thinking of this, Mr. Song couldn't help but laugh at himself. Why am I not the same? In order to make him completely believe that even things like incontinence can be performed, compared to this beast, he is more able to survive. Although he had mixed feelings in his heart, the play still had to go on, so he desperately tried to break free from Tianming, crying loudly, "Kill, kill." Tianming cried loudly and said, "Boyo, hurry up to arrange a car and take Dad to the hospital. Hurry up."